Hey guys, in this video we're going to be checking out the new Funko Disney Talespin. This is Baloo. Taking the tape measure, Baloo stands at a very small 4 3/4 of an inch tall. Those expecting to find any sort of accessories with Baloo, unfortunately, you'll be disappointed. Basically, what you see is what you get. And what you get, unfortunately, is one problem I have with Baloo. While he is a great-looking representation, looks exactly like Baloo from the cartoon, I do find him to be a little on the small side. Just to show you a comparison in sizes, there's Baloo, and here's Scrooge McDuck that we just recently had a look at in a separate video. Give it that Baloo is taller, yes, but I do feel like Baloo should have maybe been just maybe a little bit taller still. I mean, again, he looks great, but I do find he's a little out of scale with I would imagine to be what he would be to Scrooge McDuck. So height, if you can overlook that aspect of it. Other than that, I think he's a great looking figure. He's got some really good personality to his face. And again, we're getting a superposable representation here of Baloo from the folks of all folks over at Funko. Again, I'm really strangely surprised to find that Funko was the one that got the property for this. But still, so far, I'm pretty impressed. At the time of shooting this review, already picked up Scrooge McDuck as clearly present. And didn't get a chance yet to find Chippendale or Darkwing, and Darkwing is the one I'm really looking forward to getting. I could easily have just scoped the whole set online and just pick them up that way, but I'm going to see if I can try to find them in stores. If no search ends up, well, a search turns up no results, then I'll probably end up ordering the other 3 figures online. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, and let's talk a little bit more about Baloo. Again, a great representation here of Baloo from one of my favorite cartoons from the Disney run is Talespin. Interesting that they would take the characters from Jungle Book and give it a cartoon such as Talespin that involved planes and pirates and all that fun stuff. But it did definitely work, and Baloo was really a likable character in the cartoon. So again, like, we've got a great representation here of Baloo, right down, well, really from the top of his pilot's hat all the way down to the bottom of his feet. Now, this guy does have posability in a similar way as Scrooge McDuck, in the way his bottom feet are articulated. Now, unfortunately, Baloo, let me just bring the camera back, you can get a little bit more in the way of a pose, at least from the foot standpoint. But I even would beg the question to ask why they would even put articulation in the lower legs anyways, because you can really only do this. You can kind of have him sitting down. It ultimately just makes the figure fall over. But I really don't think, if anything, the figure needed to have articulation really from the waist down. From the waist up, he definitely has all the additional posability that one would hope, and so much more. The coloring here is very clean on the figure, which is pretty consistent with Scrooge McDuck. Although I do have to admit one thing I didn't mention during the Scrooge McDuck review, is that the little red area of his top hat seems slightly on the messy side. It almost looks like it's unfinished in areas, maybe could have afforded a second coat of paint. But we're not looking at him right now. Let's look at Baloo, which contrasts to Scrooge McDuck. I think paint on him is pretty good, actually, both in the shirt, again on the little hat, and the hat, much like Scrooge's, can't remove it. It's sculpted in place. I like that they've got his mouth slightly open. You can even see that there's a tongue sculpted and painted in there. And again, face is really good on this guy. There's the back of it. Also got his little tail, his little bear tail, and peg holes on the undersides of his feet. Not really sure why they don't come with any sort of display stands. Display stands, I think, could definitely go a long way as well, because they could come with like a Disney default stand and then simply just put the name of the character on the front placard. So it kind of keeps them consistent with one another. Let's look at his posability. His head is on a ball joint, so it hinges up and down, and it rotates all the way around. You got universal joints on the arms, but that's about as far out as they go. Can't really do much more after that. You get a rotation going there, as well as the hinge in the elbow. No wrist articulation, as you could probably see. It's just all one sculpted arm. Also has a waist I dare almost want to say a ball joint, but it doesn't look like it hinges up and down, so I'm thinking it's just a hinge. Simply the top torso has been plugged on top of the lower half, and you've just got a waist swivel. And then we've, of course, already looked at the legs. Even though Baloo's works a little bit better than Scrooge's, I really don't think articulation is necessary basically from this point down. My biggest concern really with this line is that I feel as if this is going to be like a one-shot, like one of every single character is going to make a Funko release. I can only hope that with the popularity of the Disney shows, and of course people wanting to pick up these first wave of figures for themselves, maybe Funko will see potential and release further characters. It's very possible we may get other characters from each of the cartoons, but the one I'm really rooting for is Darkwing Duck. I think a lot of the villains, based on the way Darkwing Duck currently looks, which unfortunately I don't have yet, but based on the look of Darkwing, I think they could really do a good job on all the other villains in the cartoon as well. Baloo, on the other hand, turned out really good. About the only thing that is the shortcoming to this figure is literally the fact that he's short. Could have been a little bit taller, especially by comparing him, I should say, to the other figures in the wave. Based on that, one could also argue the point that Chip and Dale are also a little too tall, that they should be a lot smaller. But again, you kind of have to draw the line at some point. Baloo could be a little bit taller. Of course, we wouldn't want Chip and Dale to be accurately scaled to that of course, Scrooge McDuck or Baloo, or they'd be a lot smaller. Still, despite the fact he could have been a little bit taller, I like how Scrooge McDuck turned out, and I really like how Baloo turned out as well. Looking forward to picking up the rest of the figures from Series 1. Today, we were having a look at the Funko Disney Talespin Baloo articulated figure. If you guys haven't had a chance yet to hit that little subscribe button down below, of course, hit it down below. Let me know also what you guys think of these figures. Have you had a chance to pick up any one of these yet? And hopefully with having a look at the 2 figures, I'll be able to go out and find the other 3. And the one, again, I'm really looking forward to is the Darkwing Duck, and I still got to get Chip and Dale, so wish me luck. Wish me luck. As always, guys, thanks for watching, as you always do. I'll see you next time.